You told another publication, Midland's Biz, the reporter actually asked you to describe your leadership style. You said, probably more slow march than bold stroke.
Correct.
What do you mean by that?
At my law firm, I don't have executive authority to dictate much of anything. I have to get 51% of my partners to agree before I can get a new initiative through the law firm. And I come up with an idea, I think it's a good idea, and then I have to build consensus around that idea to get it passed. South Carolina is a state where the legislature has a lot of power, the governor has some, not as much. We have 16 solicitor districts. The Attorney General has to be able to build consensus around ideas in order to get them through. The Attorney General just can't say, let's do it this way, and have it happen. What I would do is as my position in the law firm, is develop ideas that are in the best interests of South Carolina, that will make South Carolina safer, and then get them done. Get them done by working behind the scenes, building relationships with the legislature, building relationships with the solicitors, building their trust so that we can have results.
When Alan Wilson announced that he's running for Attorney General, he had his family there, and he said that the reason why he's running is because of his family, and he wants to make South Carolina families safer.
Right.
Is there a reason why you're running for Attorney General?
Absolutely. I think public safety is the #1 responsibility of state government. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a conservative all the way around, but I'm definitely a fiscal conservative. None of my friends will if you ask them, we'll refute that. But the one thing state government should spend money on is keeping you and me and our families safer. There's no doubt about that. I have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And when I look at the fact that our state is #1 in violent crime, #2 in DUI deaths, top 5 in domestic violence, that worries me. I have kids, they're out there somewhere right now, this moment. And it worries me for the safety of my family. It worries me for the safety of my friends. But as you mentioned earlier, I work in economic development. I manage the firm, but I help bring businesses into South Carolina. I was at a plant site. I shouldn't say too many facts, but I was at a plant site, a German plant, and one of the executives was over here from Germany. He was commenting on the violent crime statistics for South Carolina, and he said, if I knew the Midlands was this violent, we might not have put this plant here. All the gubernatorial candidates are talking about jobs and economic development. The Attorney General needs to be part of that team. Making South Carolina safer is not only good for my family and your family, it's good for jobs. It's good for our whole state.
You talked a little bit about your children, and we were talking about this before this show. Your childhood, you were born in Hawaii.
Correct. Raised
in Delaware. Yeah. How did that, moving around like that, how did that, sort of mold you as a person?
Right. Well, I think, my father was in the Army. That's what, I was born at Tripler Army Hospital. Unfortunately, we moved when I was about 5 or 6. So I didn't really get to enjoy it as much as you would growing up. What it did was it gave me a unique perspective. Having been born in Hawaii, lived in Virginia, grew up in Delaware, gone to school in Tennessee, I basically had the whole country open to myself as a place to live, a place to make my career, a place to raise a family. Luckily at Vanderbilt, I met a girl from South Carolina and got to know South Carolina. And while we were in Washington, D.C., living there, we said, where do we want to live? Where do we want to raise a family? Where do we want to make our careers? And we had the whole world at our disposal, and we decided it was South Carolina. And for a lot of reasons. One, there's a certain grace amongst the people here. And you've got to have lived other places to appreciate that. You only have to go in someplace twice and folks know you. That's something special. There's also a natural beauty about this state that is absolutely unparalleled. You start off in Beaufort, you end up in a dove field in Darlington, or you go up to the mountains. There's no state quite as beautiful as ours. So the combination of the people and the natural beauty, and what I saw was a lot of opportunity. We're a state that's growing, which is very exciting. I mean, a lot of states are shrinking in the Northeast. We're growing, even in a recession, and you always want to be someplace that's getting better, and South Carolina is.
Well, you filed your paperwork. You're going to officially announce here coming up in October at some point. Do you have a specific date yet?
I don't. I had to file my paperwork because some folks were nice enough to give me contributions before I think to push me over the edge to actually run. So I filed my paperwork. I'm in, I'm running, but I have obligations to my law firm and I have obligations to my clients right now. I'm working on several big economic development projects. I need to see those through. I need to make sure my law firm can transition from my managing partner position to the next person in a logical way.
All right, Leighton Lord, thank you very much for coming on Newswatch.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. And Newswatch will be back right after this.